gentlemen. It's 4 it's 4:35 right now. Woke up, cold shower, everything, and the last couple of weeks I've been more disciplined than ever in my entire life. And I've been chasing this disciplined journey, or the journey of success and money and whatnot, and becoming the best version of myself for 1.5 to 2 years now. And I was always in this self-improvement cycle. Many of you might have heard about it. So basically, I got a little bit disciplined, and then I was complacent, and I was like, oh, I just became complacent, and then I had to start over again. And then there were months, literally 2-3 months, where I just could not get disciplined at all, or get my head to do anything that I wanted him to do. So anyway, the last few weeks I've been disciplined, but the surprising fact is I wasn't necessarily motivated. Or the better way to say it is, motivation wasn't a factor of that at all. And this is very this seemed very different to me, because the last 1.5 to 2 years, the way I motivated myself is in the morning when I woke up and I felt like shit, I literally put on a nice Instagram reel or whatever I say to myself, or like some nice audio that's motivating, right? And in the heat of the moment, it does get you up, like I haven't retired my parents yet, or some like relatable stuff. And it just all shifted my whole perspective, and I wanted to share it with you because it might save you 1.5 to 2 years of your life if you apply what I'm about to tell you. And so I'm rather calm about the things I do now. Like, how once you experience too much dopamine, then other things you do in life don't seem as fun. If I go on my phone and scroll too much, then what I'm going to do afterwards is just going to seem boring compared to that. But I believe the same thing is true with motivation. I believe if I'm used to watching Instagram reels, or something that motivates you externally from another website, and I switch it off, and for example, I go from doing that to just waking up and then doing my work, I think the shift in motivation, the fact that I was so motivated in the beginning and then it just shifts back to reality, is not going to keep you motivated. And I think that's the reason that for 1.5 to 2 years I was never consistent, because I was always relying on that external motivation to get to me. Let that sink in. And please, if you didn't understand what I said, watch it again, because this was the main part of the video. I will explain it to you now further, because what I just said doesn't really make much sense. Like, okay, if I'm not motivated at all, then how am I supposed to continue? Because the me who was not motivated was not able to continue at all. Hope I'm not waking anybody up. So, the way it is for me now is when I wake up early, or when I'm hitting the gym, or when I do this, I make sure that prior to that, I don't get attached to motivation. So I don't watch any videos that motivate me, that just for the heat of the moment make me go, oh, let me go to the gym, or let me get this out of the way. Because once I get used to that, and once you get used to relying on this type of thing that gets you up, you become so detached. You're not actually disciplined. You're just borrowing that discipline from that motivation for that moment. Does that make sense? And most successful people, whether it's Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, whatever, you probably have a couple people coming to your mind, are very passive people. I mean, they're very aggressive in their field, but when you see them, they're very calm and friendly and stuff like that. Most of them, not everybody. And that's their style. That's like that in general. But there's people like, I don't know, Andrew Tate, who are more like aggressive about that. And I'm also more of the aggressive type of person. But what I realized is, once I use that aggression, and once I get used to that, once I get used to relying on anger, this is the moment where my discipline is dependent on that factor, and you can't stay angry at the same thing forever. Someone might bully you. You're gonna think about it once, you're gonna get very angry, you wake up the next day. Twice, you're gonna be angry again, 3 times, 4 times. After a week or so, that's not gonna get you out of bed at all. And you're gonna start feeling like shit. Because that's how I was, that's the rut I was in. The last rut I was in was basically that. So, what I'm telling you now, in this video is gonna be a bit shorter, but very valuable for you. And, I switched my content up because I went from doing things for men or boys who are not into self-improvement to get them into self-improvement, but now I'm talking to boys or men like you who have already started self-improvement and are seeking this one thing to make them elevate now. So this is gonna get me less views. It's not gonna go as viral. I'm aware of that. I had a video making 2.5 thousand views, which for me is incredible, but I'm sure that raw videos like that will get probably about 100 views, maybe 200, but the people watching this are gonna be much more dedicated and just knowing what they're willing to do and get more value out of it. So with that being said, don't rely on motivation don't be dependent on that for your discipline, because that's not going to last forever. And I know my mentality was, I'm going to rely on motivation until it becomes a habit, and then I'm going to let go of it slowly, whatever. And it never worked. It never will work, because once you do get used to the motivated state, even if you make it a habit, once you switch that shit off, the layer, because the thing is, if you have a house, I should have prepared a board for you. If you have a house and the foundation is built on discipline, and you build it and it's done, then you kind of try to take the discipline, the motivation out of it, the whole tower is going to collapse. So my advice for you is, because now you're watching this, if you completely take out the motivation, you're going to be just boring, just not being able to do anything, not being able to conquer the day or whatever you do. So, because that's how I was. When the way I see waking up early, the way I see taking a cold shower in the morning, the way I see accomplishing work is not fun. I derive fun from it, but that is not the reason I do it. There's a quote that goes, I have to think about this now. Dopamine is not the pursuit of happiness, but it's the happiness of pursuit. So I am not expecting myself to be happy when I do these things. For me, waking up early is not even part of I'm so motivated, let me do that, let me conquer the day. It's more like, if I don't, I feel like shit. And you know that. You know you've been slacking off and you've been feeling like shit. You know what that feels like. Bro, the thing is, I have so much to say, but I don't want to wake up everybody at 4 o'clock. You know what it feels like when you skip your workouts and you feel like shit and you're just laying in bed and you're like, fuck. And you realize to yourself, you think to yourself, and you understand, fuck. It's better when I do these things even when they hurt. But the next day, same thing. You skip that shit again. While scrolling on your phone, Instagram Reels. Maybe you got a girlfriend that you're talking to. So for me, I understood after so much failure that me waking up early is the only way I can be truly happy. And I'm not trying to sound like some, I don't know, bro, just take it the way you want, but I'm just being honest with you, so my advice can help you. Waking up early, accomplishing the work, especially throughout the first hours of the day. If I don't wake up early and I wake up at, let's say, 10, 11, my productivity drops from 6-7 hours of work a day to maybe 1 or 2. That is half-assed. unfortunately, how nice would it be if I could wake up at 10, 11 and just accomplish the same 8 hours of work that I would do otherwise? But the fact that the way you start your day determines 80% of how it's gonna go. So 80% of how your day is gonna go is by how you started it. Does that make sense? So I think I was able to teach you anything, everything I wanted in this video. I had a lot of ideas in my mind, and yeah, if not, then I'll write everything in the description that I can think of. If you guys need any help, or you know, I'm in this journey myself. I'm not someone who's completely mastered everything. I've not been waking up at 4:25 or 4:30 every day for the last 5 years or anything. But if you guys need any help or need someone to talk to, I'm gonna put my Instagram in the chat. You guys can also text me in the comments, and yeah, take care, boys.